Recording in
Good evening,
progress.
everyone. I'd like to welcome to the Town of Pownal Special Select Board Meeting, March 19th, 2026 at 6 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board member roll call.
Julie Weber, Amy Alexander.
Mike Gardner.
Carl Strohmeyer.
Jamie Percy.
First off, I'd like to welcome all of our guests here tonight, and I appreciate everyone taking time out of their day. So I'd like to introduce first Lieutenant Seth Loomis, Station Commander for the Shasberry State Police Barracks. And I'd like to also introduce Sheriff James Gully from the Bennington County Sheriff's Department. I'm going to let them introduce their own personnel that they brought with them, so I don't screw anything up. Mostly title.
I have Sergeant Paul Sokolowski here with me. He's a night shift patrol commander out of the Shasberry Barracks as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sheriff James Gully. Here to my right is Captain Roscoe Harrington. Here behind me is Corporal Scott Legacy. He's our patrol commander. And over here to my left is Deputy Dave Fagan. He patrols the town of Pownal.
Perfect. So the purpose of tonight's meeting is, as everyone knows, we've had for several months now, we've had some ongoing problem with some loud nuisance noises around town. And I guess our purpose is really to discuss what we're doing about it, what we can continue to do, what we can maybe try some new things. I don't know, but we're definitely to have some discussion. Something that the select board has obviously taken serious, and with our law enforcement agencies coming down tonight, they obviously are taking it serious as well. It's not something that's just being pushed under the rug someplace. So doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who wants to start. I don't care. Pick one and we'll go from there.
I'll go ahead and start off. We have been made aware of these nuisances or these loud noises. I did bring some data with me a little bit. To date, what we have, it looks like we have 10 reported instances starting on September 26th is when the first incident was reported. Although in that case, the complainant in that advised that they had heard it several weeks prior, a couple weeks prior to that. That was when the first complaint came in. The last known one regarding loud explosions that was reported to us was November 20th of 2025. But in February, we were starting to notice 2 instances where fireworks or some kind of device like that was left in the roadway, and motorists that were passing by, they could see a glow on the road and then it went off. So the first one was a late reported incident. That one occurred or was reported on the 3rd of February at 10:06 the next morning, but it actually occurred, we believe, around 11 or so the night before. And then the latest one that we had was February 18, 2026, just before midnight. And that was another instance that was reported to us as well. Recently after that, we have been kind of looking at the social media posts through Facebook or whatever the outlets are out there. And one we noticed was reported on there, but we didn't get a phone call for it. And we actually had 2 troopers in the area when that went off, who were on traffic stops, one on 346, another one near the Pownal View barn. But nothing was reported. So therefore they weren't able to respond to that, but we did see it the next day. It was brought to our attention by looking at that. So those are the last known reports that we have of those instances for the explosions or the loud noises, the disturbances that we have.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
And I'm guessing other residents have the same question. So the first time that I heard it, I had heard about it and from town employees actually. And I thought, geez, this is like, it's fireworks or something that sounds weird, but it was so loud. And I know the difference between gunshot and fireworks. And so it was really strange. And I didn't call and report it. I thought, well, what's anyone going to do? So would you encourage residents to call and make a report? Because I know one of the reasons I did not is because I don't want to take away from your time to come out to my house when that seems unnecessary, when something else could be going on.
It's a valid point, but we like to do, and I'm not speaking, I'm kind of blanketing everybody, but I don't want to speak for you.
Well, I mean, we work collaboratively, so yeah.
Right. We look for data, like trends. If something's happening, like I've got 10 data points, but they're kind of spread around when you look at the times. We don't have a specific date that we're looking for. So I would like to know when these instances happen, because then we can start mapping something. Potentially, if there's a pattern of behavior, maybe we can adjust our resources accordingly. Some of that stuff will take people calling in, and we do want to hear this stuff. Yeah, it's a nuisance, but, or you may think it's a nuisance to us, but if it's a nuisance for the town, we want to be able to try and address it. What we have recently been doing for the last month and a half, and I'm not sure if people have seen it or not, but we've been ramping up when we have the ability to. Our night shift patrols have been doing what we call direct patrols, stopping vehicles, asking questions of people. So those are some of the things that maybe residents have started seeing recently in the last month and a half that we've been doing when we can get the shifts together to get down there and do that stuff. So, but yes,
Thank
we
you.
do want to report it.
Yeah, late reporting is definitely an issue. We need to know. Like you're saying, we need to know when it's happening and as close to where it's happening. So Sheriff Gully has me out here patrolling. We're doing some late patrols at night on Friday nights. I also have been canvassing quite a bit of the areas from the northern part to the southern part, and I've got some really good data on that. We're able to narrow down some spots.
Great,
We don't know exactly where, but I've got it. We've got it pretty well.
great. Yeah, because I know those have taken place during the day as well. Like when I heard it, it was like late afternoon, but thank you for that.
Yeah, but it also coincides with surveillance cameras. A lot of people have Ring cameras or personal surveillance cameras.
So yeah,
If they take the time and they're willing to cooperate and call and not have that, that feeling where they're bothering us because we're here for you. Please call what it basically boils down to is that, effective, hardworking police work, talking to people, looking at footage, going from house to house or door to door. And if we can narrow it down, which we're working diligently on, then that will help us. But
Most of our help is gonna come from the people, the community. There's people out there that know exactly what's going on. And eventually, somebody's gonna make mistakes, say something to the wrong person. It's gonna filter down to whatever level it makes it to law enforcement, and then we're gonna be that much further ahead of the game. So we have to rely a lot on the public, the phone calls, if there's not anybody who can immediately respond between Shasberry or the sheriff's department, we're gonna be there the next day. I've been out for 2 of these before I was moved up to the rank of captain. Went to the areas like Dave has done. I didn't see anything damaged. I didn't see any remnants of anything that was blown up.
We were literally walked Route 7 trying to find remnants of for those 2 incidents where somebody saw something explode by their car, and we literally walked the road. But the problem is the late reporting. After
Right.
100 cars go by, it just blows it all over the
Sure.
place, and it's going to be gone. But there should be some remnant of something there. But with the snow and the rain and everything happened at that time, it was just about impossible after plow trucks go through and all that. So we need to know right away.
So, Sue Kerriman,
Hi. So Carmen, I live on the corner of Oak Hill School Road and Route 346. And did you say you didn't get any calls on the 28th of March
No, I don't have any.
or February, I mean?
We have 2 for February, and those are February 3rd and February 18th.
Because I called, and if you can see the record on my phone. Called Scotland 3 times. And I didn't call, it happened Saturday night at about 11:10. It went kaboom, I could have swore it was up there in my driveway. I had my tablet in my hand, and immediately a post came up, an anonymous post came up with a nice background that somebody had all done. and said there was a loud group in Pownal. And I wrote something after it saying, how did you post this so quick?
Sorry, folks.
And he came back with a smiley face and a picture with like a Tin Man hat and said, crazy. But I did call Scott Legacy because Jim Gilligan gave me Scott Legacy's number of years.
What did you call
That was following day.
I'll give out some numbers to call too, and you
I
know,
called you at 10:03. Are you Scott Legacy?
yeah.
10:03 a.m.
What day?
the following, Sunday, March 1st. 10:03, oh, yeah, 10:03, 10:01. And I called the twice at 9:56 a.m. And I got nothing back, and I left my name and I left my phone number. And I said, well, evidently nobody cares. But it is loud. My neighbor even said to me, he just moved in 3 weeks ago. And it has been 3 weeks in a row. And now we haven't heard anything since that day.
Right.
But it's loud, it's scary. It's been going on a long time. I mean, up by the Ladbroke, you would hear it, you'd think it was at the rescue squad, you would think it was down.
That's our other problem, is it's echoing through the valley.
It's all.
It does echo.
People are saying, I thought it came from there, but it might have come from there. We're getting that a lot.
Yeah,
Like it's off the road too. Like when I heard it, it seemed to be back and off the road.
One of these instances that I have here is troopers were actually in the area in North Pownal at a call, and they heard it go off and they tried getting where they thought it may have been. Problem is, like you explained earlier, pinpointing where that location is, where they may have heard it, in the valley, it could be, a mile away, but it sounds like it happened right next door.
Right.
That's where we're trying to figure out, like, we need a pinpoint. If somebody knows.
that's
Yeah.
what I. Trooper comes from Shasbury or wherever they come from.
Right.
What are you gonna find?
Right, but in that instance, what I would suggest is, contacting the state police and putting that report in. And if you need the number, I'll put it out over this, so that way everybody knows the non-emergency number. So when it gets reported, because like I said, I do know from the radio logs, we did have, troopers doing their nightly patrols down here, and they were on 2 stops, one on 346, the other one by Pownal Barn. We were made aware of that incident by looking at social media. And actually somebody brought it to my attention as well, so got us kind of generating on there, so, just call.
Like a lot of other people, they don't know who to call.
Right.
And I was gonna call the state police, but Jim had given me Scott's number.
Yes, and that's, and that's the problem too, is that, when Scott, because we have to, unfortunately, we move people around. And Scott has been pulled, he's patrolling Sunderland and Shaftesbury, and Dave is patrolling Pownal. But like, I know what Lieutenant Loomis is gonna say, when in doubt, call 911. Yeah,
100%, yep.
call 911. If you do have access to one of our numbers, unfortunately, sadly, sometimes I'm sorry that he didn't answer the phone. But I know that if we're away from our phone, sometimes sadly, I know that I can speak for the sheriff's department, we have 25 hours. So, and, we're not there all the time.
So the first person to call would be the state police.
Yes, when in doubt regarding these booms, call 911. So if it's certain days of the week, when we're working, Captain Harrington communicates with Lieutenant Loomis. He knows our schedule. So if the call does come through the state police or 911 dispatch, it will be redirected to us. In the meantime, if we're not on, or if we have something pending, if you call 911, it will immediately go to Lieutenant Loomis and his team, and they'll take it from there.
I think I'm old school thinking that you call 911 for an emergency or a car crash or somebody ill or something like that.
This is an emergency. They're throwing, there's stuff going off under cars. That's a problem that we need to nip this in the bud right away.
So I think you should make it clear to everybody that they can call 911.
And I do have a non-emergency number that I can share with the select board and other members that want it to call if they don't want to tie up the 911 lines. I'll say it here so that we've been, you also write it down, it's 802-442-5421. That's our non-emergency line. And it goes to the PSAP that's over in Westminster, and then they'll notify one of the night shift patrols.
Option three on that, well, if the listen to the option three, we'll get to
Just,
I think it's option number 8.
What's the state police number now?
802-442-542.
Is that the one that's always, has it always been that?
I believe, yes, I've been down here,
I used to know, my dad was the sheriff, I doesn't know the number pretty well.
Saying 2-1 or 2-9.
5421.
Got it. That's what I've gotten.
Yeah, and our number 802-442-4900.
49 what? Thank you.
So I'm gonna repeat those phone numbers because sometimes it's hard, hard to hear for our audience. So, the non-emergency, number for the Vermont State Police is 802-442-5421. Again, non-emergency for, VSP is 802-442-5421. Non-emergency for the Bennington County Sheriff's is 802-442-4900.
4900.
Again, Bennington County Sheriff's Department is 802-442-4900. I just want to make sure that everybody gets that clear. And I appreciate those phone numbers being given out. I also really appreciate the fact that as we sit here tonight and discuss this out, I think it's very important for our residents to know that both of our law enforcement agencies do consider these an emergency. Okay, it is a worthy 911 call. For anybody who hasn't heard that here tonight so far, it has been stated clearly by everybody in the room that it is a worthy 911 call. But if you feel funny, those other two numbers are certainly going to be, you're going to get a response. It may not be an instant response only because of timing. And, but I think we've heard a couple other things that one incident, we had some, couple of ESP patrols in town that it wasn't reported on, and they were here. So I think one of the keys, excuse me, that I'm not sure has been happening is every time one of these incidents happens is to have it reported. Because maybe we can come up with a pattern as Captain Harrington has said, maybe we can figure this out, just by some good old fashioned police work, right? Instead of, happening on it by luck, right?
And as I look through my notes here too, they may just generate what we call one case for us, but in some of these, I've got 3 people that called at one time, so they've logged them under the same call, so they are logging everything, so there's a record of what's going on, what's being reported. Some things that could help us out, maybe some pointers. Perfect. If you see, because in some instances, the one that you're talking about, I was at the Pownal Fire Department last week talking to them, and one of their members who lived in the area, reported seeing a large flash. If you see that helps us pinpoint. So kind of, the boom, we know it could be anywhere, but if you actually see something and can kind of pinpoint where that area is, that is more helpful. That's really helpful to us to be able to generate the resources where they need to go right away.
And that's also good information for figuring out what it is. Also, because if you get a white flash, it's different than a red flash. And,
Yep.
So, and a cloud of smoke is white or black. It's all makes a big difference.
People need to report that, I heard a car take off after I heard the explosion. Anything and everything to go with that. I know if you woke up 2 o'clock in the morning from a loud bang, your wits aren't about you, but, every little bit they can tell us, I heard a car take off or I heard somebody run, anything.
Even small chatter. I heard it was this person.
Yes.
There's conversations that it could be this person. Anything that could help tie in an individual, we'll do the rest. But share this information. Be forthcoming, and we look forward to hearing from you.
I do think that, I'm so sorry.
There's just 2 other things.
Yeah.
If you call 911, you're not required to give anonymous that way. Also, the anonymous tip line, you can put as much information there as possible. We can't track it if you don't know who we pulled it. So you go right on the VSP website, it said the tip line, type it right in, and we follow up on those and we get a record, we can share that.
And our tip line automatically generates an email that comes to me. That's, so the same thing. It just basically comes right straight from our tip line. into my email, I can read it.
Yeah.
And we can share it. Yeah, we're not siloed agencies, okay? We work closely with the Vermont State Police. We share information, we work collaboratively. I mean, we all want to see this stop. So if you share the information through our tip line, great. If you share it through the Vermont State Police tip line, excellent. But we're all working collaboratively here to stop this behavior.
Have you heard anything about any, excuse me, reports being made in Bennington? And the reason I ask is because recently, and of course I was not smart enough to screenshot it, I was looking at a North Adams, just like neighborhood group, just the North Adams page. And someone was reporting like a loud explosion. There was a comment that said, oh yeah, they have that in Pownal too. So I can always go back and see if I can find it, but I was just wondering.
I'm not aware of that.
Anything outside of
Okay.
Bennington or
Okay.
Shasberry or.
The other thing is too, with the ones we had in the road, both operators didn't see any other vehicles around. So that was a very important fact that they didn't see another vehicle pass them, and they were out there all alone. So, having something go off under their car and being in the road, that's significant, not being involved in a vehicle. So it could be, somebody walking or somebody on a four-wheeler or a snowmobile or something like that too.
Sue?
I'm not right on the road. My property's right between Oak Hill School Road and Route 7. So if it's at Route 7, I hear it. If it's on 346, I hear it. But, what I wanted to say is it only South Pownal? Are you hearing it? I heard it was up on Niles School Road one time. I heard they heard it over at Cozy Meadow. I've heard different things. Is it just? South-
Washington Brook, Barbara's Pond,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think there have been reports other places.
None in North Pownal?
Nope, the one that, like I said, the one that we had where they were out at a call, the troopers were able to hear it go off. And after they wrapped up and kind of went to the area to try and see where they thought they may have thought that the sound was coming from. But there have been, you are correct, with some of those locations, and like the sheriff said, there are some up there as well.
But
I have a brand new neighbor who's only been next to me for months now. And he called me the last one and he said, I've only been in town 3 weeks. And every single weekend it went off right by us. That was 3 weeks in a row.
Hannah, do we have anyone on Zoom that has their hands up or wants to make a comment? Okay.
maybe if they also, I know this is a little bit unusual, but if people watching know that they can engage in the conversation now instead of waiting, then maybe they will.
Right, that's,
fine.
yeah, I wanted to go there because, I think this is a very important community thing. So a couple of pointers before I forget, because like I said, sometimes it is hard for the audience to hear what's going on. A couple of things that I've written down that I thought were very important was, if you call 911, you do not have to give your name. So a 911 call can be an anonymous call. The same thing with the tip lines for VSP and the sheriff's department. It can be an anonymous tip. So your name does not have to be attached to this. I think that's a really important point. And I wanted to touch on that before that got away from me. Because it's hard, it is, sometimes it's hard for our audience to hear what's going on.
I also think the point that one of you raised, sorry, I don't remember who, the idea that if you have cameras, I mean, a lot of us do. I have cameras everywhere. And like, I think when I heard it was in November, and if I had thought about it, then I would have had documented evidence. That's gone now. But I think that's really important for people to remember that you have captured that if you have cameras.
And that's when putting out the joint press release, that we want to make sure that, we're looking for any information. It's not just tips or anything like that, but we're looking for digital images that could help us find out what this is. Like you had said, the flash, what does it look like? How big is it? That can also help identify potentially what is going off. That won't be the only thing. We'll have to actually do some more testing on that stuff, but if we get an idea, can see it, and the explosion size or the flash can help us a little bit in determining what that may be. I want to stick on your point on tips. We did in the fall get tips. Sergeant Sokolowski and I have followed up on those. But the importance that I want to stress with that is a tip or a lead that comes in will be followed up on. Yeah, it may be uncomfortable for the person that might be the subject of that, but we won't know unless we talk to them, and that's what we did. We got two, and we followed up on them and didn't really come to fruition, but at least we'll go out there and ask the questions if need be. I know that the sheriff's department will do the same, so.
Any board members have any more questions, comments? Anything you want to say?
Basically, if you see something, say something.
Yep.
And more information is not a bad thing.
And check your cameras.
Yeah, we have a pretty solid working relationship with Williamstown. And there's a lot of association with us through officers in North Adams. Now that you'd mentioned the fact, that'll be something that I'll take on in the next few days to reach out, find out what they've had for problems down there and see if they have more information. Because it could very well be somebody from Massachusetts leading over to Vermont.
I'll see if I can find that post again. If I can, I'll screenshot and get it to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think, you know, sitting here tonight, I think there's a couple of things that everyone can take away from this, right? Both sides, law enforcement and general public. The thing I want the general public to take away from this tonight is that our law enforcement agencies are working on this. This is something that it is on their radar. They are very well aware of it. And they're trying to figure out what's going on. It's not like they just sit there and don't do anything about it and wait for a car accident or whatever, you know, some other kind of an emergency. They are working on this to the best of their ability, given the information that they've been given. And I think lack of reporting has maybe been a little detrimental in what you as law enforcement officers are trying to do. You know, if we're getting one every weekend, as Sue Cameron has stated from her area, we don't have that documentation here from the logs that we have, right? We don't have that. So they aren't always getting reported. And I think that's a very important thing as well, because then we can try to find a pattern. We can, you know, at between 11 and 12 or whatever, and I don't want to get it, but you know, I think that I think that's a big key, and I think that's probably could have been holding you guys back a little bit on what you are able to do.
Yeah.
And then I think, you know, I think our law enforcement agencies know that we're fairly concerned about it, right? That the select board's concerned about it for our residents. One of the big fears that I have, is that somebody's going to get hurt. Whether it's the cars driving over top of, you know, a device, you know, the car's got a problem, who knows, whatever, right? Or even the person who's detonating, however they're doing it, that person getting hurt. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I mean, obviously, you know, if the person gets hurt, then we're gonna know who it is, but that's not what we're after. And not what I'm after. I'm after, let's figure out what's going on and take care of the problem.
Or start triggering other issues.
Yep. Sue?
I want to thank you guys for coming down because it makes me feel like somebody cares. And like a lot of other people, they're probably just like me, look along and think, what do I do? What do I do? Who do I call? And thank you, Mike, for having everybody come down. I know you guys are busy, but I really appreciate you coming down and letting us all know.
And if you see us driving around and you want to talk to us, just wave us down, we'll pull in and talk to you. So, run those back roads all the time, so. Yeah. As long as you have cookies.
Doesn't go all the way to the end of my drive. But yeah,
Yeah, or if you need to talk to us and we're out on the patrols, we'll come and we'll chat with you about it. No problem. We gotta get to the bottom of this.
stopped it. There was somebody parked up here one day.
And Mike knows our cell phones, you know, if we're in a certain area, well, you got nothing. No radios, no cell phones, no nothing. We've tried to get hold of each other at certain spots and it just can't happen. So you could.
But it is scary because like Mike said, somebody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a nuisance.
Right.
Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
I have his number also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can share that with everybody. That's my
Yeah,
work
I
number,
guess.
so.
Website, you have all the phone numbers on the town website?
I don't know if we have,
So if somebody at home didn't know where to call, is there a place they can look?
I don't know if we have yours.
Yeah, it's in a town report,
Yeah, but
or, well,
I'm not sure if Deputy Faden's number, who's now our patrol officer. for the
It's
sheriff's-
not a reliable source, because if I'm somewhere where I don't have a signal, you're not gonna get me. So you're better off calling the 911 or calling the number, because you're not gonna get me if I'm in the woods.
Say one of the dispatch numbers.
If you want us to put the other numbers.
Yes.
I was gonna suggest that.
Yeah.
I think those two non-emergency numbers we'll put on our website. You know, moving forward, you know, I think that can be probably done tomorrow morning. Without a lot of trouble. And I really want to stress to everyone out there. If you see it, see something, say something, like Jamie said, but call. If someone doesn't want to, attach their name, I've heard from every person in this room that it doesn't matter. And that tip or whatever is going to be investigated, right, in a timely fashion, whether there's a name attached to it or not.
Yeah.
So I think that's another really important point to make here tonight, you know, and again, I really appreciate everyone coming here. I know that every agency out there is short-staffed. It's just the way of the world, and it's a conversation that I had with the governor sitting from, you were both there, right?
Yeah.
What did I tell him? I told him, it's like, figure this out, because the state's hindering your ability to do your jobs. Okay, in my opinion. And I stated that to him without a lot of trouble. I don't hold back, doesn't matter to me. I don't have a lot more. I don't know if anybody else does. You know, I don't want to take up a bunch of your time. I know you guys are, like I said, you're very busy out there doing your jobs. So do I have any hands in the audience that want to address or talk to anybody here in the room tonight?
Okay,
Okay, so do I have any public comment? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
And again, thank you all for coming tonight. I think it's a valuable meeting. All those in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.